From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, May 1st, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.84 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,293 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $455. Antiwar.com reports, though the situation is calming in recent hours, a state of emergency has been declared in the Iraqi capital city of Baghdad after thousands of protesters demanding political reform stormed the heavily fortified Green Zone, and many forced their way into the House of Parliament. Protesters have been out in force for months, backing Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr and demanding reforms, including the installation of a technocrat cabinet. Prime Minister Haider Abadi nominated such a cabinet, but Parliament has failed to vote on it for weeks now, and indeed has failed to have an organized session with a quorum in over a week that did not involve throwing water bottles. The protesters forced their way into the Green Zone after the latest parliamentary session, which once again failed to reach a quorum to allow a vote on any new cabinet members. The Iraqi military has announced that the city is closed and that no one is allowed to enter Baghdad under any circumstances for the time being. Sadr was critical of the moves against the protesters, saying that the political leadership wants to suppress the reform movement. The call for a technocratic cabinet, despite being endorsed by a body, has been opposed by virtually his entire state of law bloc, as well as the major Kurdish parties. It is supported by Sadr's faction along with the Sunni Arabs, though their minority is even smaller than before, since the last parliamentary election came after much of the Sunni Arab part of the country had fallen to the Islamic State. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports Democratic presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign withdrew a lawsuit against the Democratic National Committee that alleges the DNC wrongly cut off access to the campaign's voter identification data ahead of the Iowa caucuses. The DNC cut off the voter data access after it said Sanders' campaign improperly accessed data belonging to his opponent, Hillary Clinton, after a firewall that separated the two campaigns' data on a DNC server was temporarily taken down. The Sanders campaign said a staff member had access to the Clinton data for about 1 hour. Metadata showed the campaign staff member, who was immediately fired, had run several searches and exported data from one of them, but had never shared the information with anyone. The Sanders campaign filed a lawsuit seeking $75,000 in damages in federal court. Only after the suit had been filed did the DNC reopen access to Sanders' own data on the DNC server. The Sanders campaign maintained that the lawsuit had said it was hoping to reach a settlement with the DNC, claiming an independent investigation had vindicated his campaign. Sanders said he dropped the lawsuit. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & the Digital Day for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a grandmother and 4 of her grandchildren were killed and another person also died in floods in central Texas caused by storms that unleashed tornadoes, damaging hail, and torrential rains on several central U.S. states, according to officials on Saturday. The woman and her grandchildren died in Palestine, Texas, about 100 miles southeast of Dallas, after escaping the house where floodwaters had reached the roofline. Palestine Police Captain James Munoz said they were able to get out, but they were washed away, adding the bodies were recovered on Saturday. In addition to the grandmother and her 4 children, the flood killed a 6th person, Giovanni Olivas, whose body was found late Saturday afternoon, according to the Anderson County Sheriff Greg Taylor. 7 homes were evacuated and temporary shelters were established. The city of Palestine received 7.5 inches of rain in less than an hour, which caused the floods. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood watch extending from East Texas into much of Mississippi and a severe thunderstorm watch for New Orleans and the southern Louisiana region. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.